Hello, welcome. In this video, we're going to talk about a spoiler for this BL Love Alert series. So with that said, let's begin. The hug tightened, and T.O. heard sobs for the first time. Jimmy didn't seem any different from the little boy he'd hit to make him cry. He really didn't think this was the last chance. After all, he'd lost to Jimmy in every way. If Jimmy was cruel again, he wouldn't know what to do. He was crazy for loving Jimmy more than himself. I won't do it again. I won't be cruel to you again. Ever since they got home, Jimmy had been following him around relentlessly, as if afraid he'd disappear again. His squinty eyes were swollen from crying so much. Jimmy slept for a while and then woke up for dinner. Jimmy said he was going to read for his exams and meet up with T.E., but so far he hadn't seen him open a single page of his book. He just followed him everywhere. He deserved to be hit. T.O. hung the coat hanger he'd used to hit Jimmy earlier on the clothesline behind the house after hanging up the tablecloth. Once he'd finished, he prepared to go back inside, ignoring Jimmy once again. Jimmy quickly followed him. "You're following me around too closely. I'm going inside to read like you asked. Why are you so cute? Seriously, you get cuter every second. Do you want me to hit you again?" "It doesn't hurt." Jimmy reached out to rub his back to ease the pain. T.O. had hit him hard. It was karma catching up with him. He wasn't the first to talk about karma. T.E. had mentioned it when he saw Jimmy's eyes swollen from crying as he followed T.O. into the house. He and T.O. hadn't gotten back together. T.O. told T.E. he wasn't his boyfriend. For now, he would just observe each other's behavior. Well, at least he wasn't kicked out. But it's not great. Why can't he hug the person he loves? Jimmy defied the dark power by grabbing T.O.'s arm and almost cried because T.O. immediately pulled away. "I can't hug you for even a minute? Don't be so bold. How long are you going to observe my behavior?" "I don't know, maybe a while." "A while is fine. Do you have anything to snack on?" "Something T.O. made would be nice." Jimmy stretched lazily and followed T.O. into the living room. Their piles of books were scattered across the floor and coffee table, but T.E. wasn't there right now because he'd gone upstairs to take a shower. That night he would sleep in the guest room after sleeping in T.O.'s for several weeks. The one being observed couldn't sleep next to him. Oh well, at least they lived in the same house. Jimmy tried to console himself. "I have something to give you, but I'm not going to give it to you." "Why?" "Because Jimmy doesn't like them. Every time I give you something, you forget it and leave it in the refrigerator." "I'm the one who throws them away." "No, the maid. It's a waste. If you don't like it, just say so and I won't do it anymore." Jimmy sat cross-legged in front of the stack of books. He turned to look at T.O., who was sitting on the sofa looking at his phone. "Jimmy doesn't like sweets. He only ate a little bit of cake. Jimmy was afraid you'd be mad if he didn't accept it, but he didn't eat it. Yes, it was a waste, but I ate your whole birthday cake. I ate it crying." T.O. didn't try to convince him or make him feel any sympathy. To that, T.O. replied coldly, his eyes fixed on his phone. "When we were dating, it wasn't so bad. There were good times too. Like, for example, Jimmy would eat all of T.O.'s home-cooked meals. The soup you made for me when I was sick, I ate it all for my good deeds. Can I have a kiss on the cheek? It hasn't been that long since we talked." "Jimmy just wants to talk to you," Jimmy muttered. He watched until he was sure T.O. wouldn't get up and leave. He pretended to read, but he wasn't concentrating at all. He couldn't stay silent for more than a minute before talking again. He recounted, "When Jimmy was drunk and T.E. took him to sleep on the couch, T.O. brought Jimmy a pillow and a blanket. T.E. told me he brought them, but Jimmy thinks it was you." T.O. stopped looking at his phone screen and looked up, seeing Jimmy sitting with his back to him. He hesitated for a moment without extending his hand, and finally extended his hand, placing it on his soft hair. Jimmy brought his hand to his cheek, and a warm sensation connected them. T.O. couldn't resist reminding him of that night. "I was the one who dried you until your fever broke too. So how could I not love T.O.? After bringing you home, I gave you the medicine too. How did you give it to me?" I was sound asleep and felt nothing. With my mouth. Jimmy held T.O.'s hand. His eyes scanned the words, but the meaning didn't sink in. It's not fair. I was sleeping. I was just giving you medicine. I really want to give T.O. a kiss, and then I'll concentrate on reading. T.O. pulled Jimmy's hand away sharply. He went back to playing with his phone as before, and then spoke in a nonchalant but cold tone that ended the conversation. Learn to wait. Jimmy will wait, but please don't make me wait too long. Jimmy clutched his pen. It didn't really matter how long he had to wait. He could wait. He had already chosen to love him. Who said only T.O. was completely defeated? He was defeated too. How long can you wait for someone? Jimmy wondered as he drove to T.O.'s shop. The question first surfaced after T.O. had spent nearly a year observing his behavior. From before he finished studying until now that he had graduated, T.O. had never said their relationship went beyond conversations. For the past year, only he had pursued him, and they never went beyond holding hands for a while. Only he had said, "I love you." Only he had gotten jealous and thrown tantrums inwardly. Of course, how could he not be jealous when people tried to flirt with T.O.? Sure, T.O. was still kind to him, but T.O. was kind to everyone else too. He felt like he was just one of the many people who received T.O.'s attention, but that he wasn't special or important at all. Maybe that's why he hadn't dared to cross the line, hadn't dared to move from the position of someone watching, until T.E. slapped him hard an hour ago. After receiving such a hard slap, he was stunned, wondering, who was waiting for me? Is T.O. waiting for me? Yes, he's been waiting a long time. That's the end of the spoiler. Leave your comments below. What do you think about this spoiler? If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Bye-bye.